Hi dear friends and viewers, welcome back to our channel Anvinay Kumar Basics of Physics. Dear friends, in this video we are going to discuss about the oblique collision. What is mean by oblique collision and what is mean by oblique elastic collision. In our IPE syllabus, intermediate syllabus, that should be given as the one short answer question. But this concept is very useful to the competitive exams also. So dear students, already we discussed about the what is elastic collision and what is head-on elastic collision. In any collision, if the initial velocities of two bodies and final velocities of two bodies are confined in a straight line, then that should be called head-on elastic collision. Here elastic collision means the collision in which law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy, when both these laws are valid, then that collision is what we call elastic collision. Clear children? So already we discussed about that one. Here this is the first body and this is the second body, and they have masses m1 and m2 and they are having velocities u1 and e2. And when both are collided and after that they are separated again like this, their velocities becomes v1 and v2. Now here this is the line of impact. The initial velocities and final velocities must be along a straight line. Then what it is called as, children? Head-on elastic collision. Head-on elastic collision. Clear? సో ఏవైతే రెండు ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ మనకి కొలిషన్లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తున్నాయో వాటి యొక్క ఇనిషియల్ వెలాసిటీస్ అండ్ ఫైనల్ వెలాసిటీస్ అవి కూడా ఒకే స్ట్రైట్ లైన్ వెంబడి ఉంటే దాన్ని ఏమంటున్నాం? హెడ్ ఆన్ ఎలాస్టిక్ కొలిషన్. అగైన్ ఎలాస్టిక్ కొలిషన్ మీన్స్ in that collision that should be having of some law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy. These two are valid, then only what it is called elastic collision. So you have about that particular head-on elastic collision. Now here what is an oblique collision? Oblique collision means that after the collision the final velocities of two bodies are not along the initial velocities, then that particular collision is called oblique collision. And in that collision, if law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy both can be valid, then it is called oblique elastic collision. So this is simply about the children oblique elastic collision. Look at this diagram. This is the first body having velocity u1 and this is the second body having mass m2 and its velocity is u2. Clear? After the collision, the first body is moving in this direction and the second body is moving in this direction. So with the line of initial velocity directions or line of impact, here what I have to say, it is making some angle theta and this is making some angle pi. So that means what? The velocities v1 and v2 are not in the same direction of u1 and u2. That type of collision is what we call oblique collision. And now here, if initial velocities and final velocities, if both are in same plane, now it is called two-dimensional oblique elastic collision. Clear? The initial velocities and final velocities of these two bodies, if they are in the same plane, it must be two-dimensional oblique collision. Otherwise it is belongs to three-dimensional. Clear? అర్థమవుతుందా? మనకి ఆబ్లిక్ ఎలాస్టిక్ కొలిషన్ అంటే కొలిషన్ జరిగిన తర్వాత ఆ రెండు ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ యొక్క ఫైనల్ వెలాసిటీస్ అనేవి ఇనిషియల్ వెలాసిటీస్ ఏ డైరెక్షన్లో ఉన్నాయో ఆ డైరెక్షన్లో ఉండవు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ సింప్లీ అబౌట్ ది వాట్ ఈస్ ఆబ్లిక్ ఎలాస్టిక్ కొలిషన్. అండ్ మీ ఇంటర్మీడియట్లో వచ్చేసి క్వశ్చన్ ఏం ప్రూవ్ చేస్తాడంటే చూడండి, క్వశ్చన్ ఏమి ఇస్తాడో, show that two equal masses undergo oblique elastic collision will move at right angle after the collision if the second body is at rest. వాడు ఇచ్చిన ప్రకారం ఏంటంటే the second body is at rest అంటున్నాడు and the initial body is moving with some velocity అంటున్నాడు. After that the angle of these two must be 90 degrees అంటున్నాడు. అంటే దే షుడ్ బి దే విల్ మూవ్ అట్ రైట్ యాంగిల్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద కొలిషన్. ఇవి రెండు ఎలా మూవ్ అవుతాయంట, ఒకదానికి ఒకటి రైట్ యాంగిల్స్ 90 degrees చేస్తూ మూవ్ అవుతాయంట. ఎప్పుడు వెన్ ద సెకండ్ బాడీ ఈస్ అట్ రెస్ట్. నౌ వీ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రూవ్ దట్. సో చిల్డ్రన్, దిస్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫర్ IPE, సేమ్ టైమ్ ఫర్ competitive exams also. Now let's go for proof. Children, look at this diagram. Here this is the first body of mass m1 and the she is moving with velocity u1, and this is the second body and that is moving with velocity u2. And now what he was given, actually the second body is initially at rest, he said that. That's why what you have to say, u2 is 0. The first body is in motion and the second body is at rest. And after that, when the first body is collide with the second one, and these two bodies are moving as shown in figure. During that, with initial velocities or with the line of impact, they will make some angle here, theta and pi. Theta is the angle made by the first body and pi is the angle made by the second body. Clear, children? So what we are saying, it is oblique elastic collision. Oblique elastic collision. I already told you what is elastic collision. The collision in which law of conservation of momentum and law of conservation of kinetic energy both are valid. Then only it is called elastic collision. So that's why here in this case also we have to observe the same thing here, children. So that is what here. First we have to write the according to the law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. What is law of conservation of momentum? Momentum before collision. Momentum before collision is equals to momentum after the collision. Momentum after the collision. So in this case here, children, momentum before the collision nothing but what it is. What is momentum? Product of mass and velocity. That's why here mass is m1 and velocity is u1. That's why here what, right? m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to, in this case here it is the line of impact and we are showing now it is the v1. What it is? v1. Now that particular velocity is divided into two components. One is the v1 sin theta and next one is v1 cos theta. Similarly, if we can take this second one, what you have to write? This is the v2 now and this is what? v2 cos pi and this is what? v2 sin pi. That's why here we have to apply the law of conservation of momentum for x-axis, at the same time y-axis. That's why here simply I am going to write first along the x-axis. So that's why here you can write m1 v1 cos theta plus m2 v2 cos pi. Just now only I told you this velocity is divided into two components. One is the v1 sin theta and this is the v1 cos theta. And similarly here it is what? This is the v2 sin pi and this is the v2 cos pi. That's why when we consider x-axis, what is that? v1 cos theta and v2 cos pi, like this. So m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to m1 v1 cos theta plus m2 v2 cos pi, children. And now in this case you have to observe the second body is at rest. So మనకి ఇచ్చిన దాంట్లో సెకండ్ బాడీ రెస్ట్ లో ఉంటుంది అన్నాడు కాబట్టి u2 is 0. And now here what, right? m1 u1 is equals to m1 v1 cos theta plus m2 v2 cos pi. And he was given one more clue, that it is what? If these two are equal in masses. So given that, or let whatever may be, m1 is equals to m2, then what, right? m1 is equals to m2 is equals to m, then what, right? mu1 is equals to m v1 cos theta plus m v2 cos pi. Here m is the common. Then what write? M u1 is equals to m of v1 cos theta plus v2 cos pi. Clear? M cancel. Then what do you get? u1 is equals to v1 cos theta plus v2 cos pi. So this is the equation number 1, children. This is what according to the law of conservation of momentum with respect of x-axis. With respect of x-axis, children. Similarly, we have to do the same thing for with respect of y-axis. So children, I need some space, that's why I am erasing this one. So you have to remember this equation. u1 is equals to v1 cos theta plus v2 cos pi is equation number 1. In the same way, we have to find out the law of conservation of momentum with respect of y-axis. So children, here initially what you have to say, there should be having some velocity u1 and its mass is m1 and its mass is m2 and that should be at rest. So here initially u1 and u2 must be along the x-axis only. There is no moving, there is no velocity before collision, there is no velocity with respect of y-axis. You have to remember that. ఏవైతే టూ బాడీస్ ఉన్నాయో అవి అలాంగ్ ది ఎక్స్ యాక్సిస్ మూవ్ అవుతున్నాయి కానీ వై యాక్సిస్ వైపు లేవు కాబట్టి సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ దెర్ ఈస్ నో మొమెంటమ్ బిఫోర్ ద కొలిషన్. దట్స్ వై సింప్లీ ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు రైట్ లైక్ దిస్. సో హియర్ m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to momentum after the collision. Already we discussed v1 sin theta is along the y axis and v2 sin pi is along the y axis. That's why here what do you write? m1 v1 sin theta minus m2 v2 sin pi. So దీన్ని ప్లస్ రాశాను. ప్లస్ రాస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే here it is positive y axis and this is negative y axis. That's why here v2 sin pi is in along the negative y axis. That's why what right here this is the like this. So m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equals to m1 v1 sin theta minus m2 v2 sin pi, children. So here what we say, there is no velocity with respect of y axis. That's why this entire term becomes 0. 0 is equals to m1 v1 sin theta minus m2 v2 sin pi. Already what we have taken, m1 is equals to m2 is equals to m, children. Therefore 0 is equals to m v1 sin theta minus m v2 sin pi. M is the common. Then what write? M of v1 sin theta minus v2 sin pi, children. So if you can bring this side, what you get? 0 is equals to v1 sin theta minus v2 sin pi. So this is the equation number, children, 2. You have to remember that. So children, this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. We have to squaring on both sides the equation number 1 and this is the squaring on both sides again equation number 2. Also we have to do the same thing. So momentum, this is according to the law of conservation of momentum with respect of x-axis. And this is what law of conservation of momentum along the y-axis. So if we can add what we get, total value of conservation of momentum. So that's why here first one, squaring on both sides, squaring on both sides of equation number 1. Then what you get, children? u1 square is equals to v1 cos theta plus v2 cos pi whole square. It is like a plus b whole square, a plus b whole square. Then what you get? u1 square is equals to v1 square cos square theta plus v2 square cos square pi plus a square plus b square plus 2ab, like that 2v1 cos theta and v2 cos pi. Similarly what you write? u1 square is equals to v1 square cos square theta plus v2 square cos square pi plus 2v1 v2 cos theta cos pi we have to write. Clear, children? So again we can go for equation number 2, squaring on both sides. Here what you get? 0 square and it is v1 sin theta minus v2 sin pi whole square, like a minus b whole square. Then what you get? a square plus b square minus 2ab we will get. Like that. Same thing here, what right? v1 square sin square theta plus v2 square sin square pi minus 2v1 v2 sin theta sin pi, children. So here now we have to add these two. What to get? u1 square is equals to u1 square plus 0 square is what? u1 square is equals to what to write? v1 square of sin square theta plus cos square theta. We are adding these two. v1 square cos square theta plus v1 square sin square theta. Then what you get? Its value is 1. And similarly here v2 square of cos square pi plus sin square pi. And again here what to take? This is these two. v1 2v1 v2 is common. Then what right? 2v1 v2 of cos theta cos pi minus sin theta sin pi will get. u1 square is equals to v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 cos theta cos pi minus sin theta sin pi, children. So how it is, children? It is in the form of cos of a plus b. That's why u1 square is equals to v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2. This is what? Cos of a plus b model formula. That's why u1 square is equals to v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 cos of theta plus pi, and it should be taken as equation number 3, children. Now we have to apply the law of conservation of kinetic energy. So we know that what it is? Kinetic energy before collision. Kinetic energy before collision is equals to kinetic energy after collision. Same thing, children. So here with respect of x-axis, what is the kinetic energy equation? Of mv square, of into mass into velocity square. Like that, what do you write? Of m1 u1 square plus of m2 u2 square is equals to of what, right? Along the x-axis, what, right? m1 v1 cos theta whole square plus of m2 here of m2 v2 cos pi whole square, children. So already the second body is at rest, u2 is 0, and what you know, m1 is equals to m2 and u2 is 0. Then substitute here of m u1 square plus 0, that is equals to of m into v1 square cos square theta plus of m into v2 square cos square pi. This is what? With respect of x-axis. With respect of x-axis. Look here, in this equation of m is common, of m is common. Then how do you write here? Of m u1 square is equals to of m of v1 square cos square theta plus, and already fm is gone. What, right? v2 square cos square pi. Then what do you get? Of m cancel. Then what do you get? u1 square is equals to v1 square cos square theta plus v2 square cos square pi, children. So this is equation number now. So this is what with respect of x-axis. Similarly for y-axis, what you have to write? Let's go for that. That's so simply what write again, of m1 u1 square plus of m2 u2 square is equals to of m1. Here for first one, what is v1 sin theta is there along the y-axis. That's what write v1 sin theta whole square means what? v1 square sin square theta plus of m into v2 square sin square pi. Same again. Okay. So children, already what we know, already we discussed what it is. There is no vertical velocity before collision. That's why this entire term becomes 0. 0 is equals to what you know, m1 is equals to m2. Therefore what write? Of m v1 square sin square theta plus of m v2 square sine square pi. Since what we taken already, m1 is equals to m2 is equals to m. Then what, right? 0 is equals to of m is common. If you can bring inside that side, what you get simply here, 0 is equals to v1 square sine square theta plus v2 square sine square pi, children. This is equation number 5 now. Clear? Now we have to add the equation number 4 and 5. We have to add the equation number 4 and 5. What do we get? u1 square plus 0. That means what? u1 square, and again v1 square cos square theta plus, and this is what? v1 square sine square theta plus, and this is what? Here v2 square cos square pi plus v2 square sine square pi. So v2 square cos square pi plus v2 square sine square pi, children. So in these two, which is common? v1 is common. So u1 square is equals to v1 square of cos square theta plus sine square theta, again plus here v2 square is common, v2 square of cos square theta plus cos square pi plus sine square pi. So this is the cos square pi, children. Not to confuse. This is the cos square pi and this is the sine square pi, children. So then what you get here? This value is equals to 1 and this value equals to 1. Then what you get? u1 square is equals to v1 square plus v2 square. So u1 square is equals to v1 square plus v2 square. Now we have to substitute this value in equation number 3. We have to substitute this value in equation number 3. Let's go. Plus v2 square, what, right? u1 square. Therefore u1 square plus 2v1 v2 cos of theta plus pi. So already these two are cancelled. Then what you get? 0 is equals to 2v1 v2 cos of theta plus pi. That's why, children, what you have to say, after the collision both are moving with velocities v1 v2 we are saying. That's why in this case v1 is not equals to 0 and v2 also not equals to 0 and 2 is the constant. Then obviously what you have to write here? Simply what you write? Cos of theta plus pi is equals to 0. So cos of theta plus pi is equals to 0. So 0 means what? Cos 90 is 0. Therefore cos of theta plus pi is equals to cos 90 degrees. Therefore theta plus pi is equals to 90 degrees. We have to prove. That's why when two equal masses bodies, in that one should be at rest. Then if they can participate in the oblique collision, after the collision the sum of these two angles must be 90 degrees. That is the we have to prove. So theta plus pi is equals to 90 degrees. So that is the, children, we have to prove that one. So if you can understand this one, you can like, share, comment the video. Children, in our channel we have a lot of videos are we creating regarding the IPE, Intermediate Public Examinations, at the same time for MSET and Neet also. So that's why you must subscribe my channel. Okay.